If I end up on your feed, I take it you have also learned that the people of Nepal are fighting ever so vibrantly against their corrupt government. Because let's face it, when you are pleading for your human rights to be recognized against exploitative individuals, catchy hashtags, witty protest signs, how even peaceful marches are not enough. You can't expect people without a conscience to understand your pleas. And you cannot trust individuals who are so comfortable to watch you starve, beg, and essentially degrade into nothingness whilst they eat up everything. But how would you feel if I told you all of this was astrologically predestined? Now, hundreds of you have been tagging me in previous predictions I put out, where I said, yeah, come 2025, we are going to see citizens of different countries hardcore rebel against their governments. And it would be deeper compared to the performative activism we're used to. I'm talking they are going to rip out those figures from their roles. Now, keep these two things in mind as we navigate the next few years. Number one, astrologically, we're in the downfall of colonialism. Ask yourself, when you think about all this craziness, all this chaos, who does it really impact? Really think deeply. What is being challenged? What is being dismantled? What is being disrupted? Because I promise you, it's not hurting you. What it's hurting is the very systems, policies, cultures, figures, traditions, norms, behaviors, education that manufacture you into oppression, into poverty, into illness, into sadness. They're shook because they've lost power. Everything they're doing is to make you feel like it is the wildest and most inappropriate thing for you to actually ascertain a position of freedom and safety and prosperity, because they can only make money via exploitation. That's what colonialism is. It's simply a financial venture which heavily relies on all kinds of exploitation. Number two, and I think very interesting actually, from 2025 to 2028, if you like, there's a treasure chest that symbolizes our ancestral karmas. It's been opened. So that means all their unfinished business, all their unfulfilled dreams, now it's our responsibility, or God will make it so that it's going to be a lot in our faces. But likewise, because not everyone comes from freedom fighters and not everyone comes from people, that we would consider to be of the savory kind. All those debts, all those curses, all those wrongdoings, all the shadiness, honey, you have it now. So you can pay those debts or you can suffer the fate that they escaped. But it's all here. The next 3 years are really about reflecting on what has stagnated us, what has made us complicit, what has made us indifferent. But either way, you're no longer able to sit in the shit and act like you're on a fucking beach in sand. Other than that, today I would like to use colonizer-free astrology to have a candid cosmic chit chat with you about why this moment in time was always going to trigger exploitative governments being rebelled against in a way that they were not expecting or even are used to. So grab a cup of jar, get comfortable, and let's go. So a lot of the events we are seeing unfolding is really influenced by Saturn going through the 9 different types of Pisces. Look at it like this, right? Now, Saturn symbolizes wealth accumulation. So, i.e., the wealth inequalities, which again are exacerbated by racism, sexism, classism, all that kind of jazz. It gets so fucking bad that people now know it's either I say something and step up, or these motherfuckers will watch me rot and make me feel like it's inconvenient to ask for access to all things they can just take, right? Number 2, it deals with imprisonment. A lot of people are waking up that the social contracts that they think were good and prosperous, or whatever the social norms are in fact like doing them a lot of harm and were always designed to imprison them. So it makes it so easy for them to be exploited. Thirdly, it deals with the dissolving of illusions. I think you can do that astrological maths in terms of how that plays out. Also, Saturn represents human misery. It represents legacy, the enforcing of karmas. Yeah, a lot of spicy topics, And then when you look at the 9 different types of Pisces, they symbolize different forms of imprisonments, different kinds of deaths, different kinds of illusion. So it's quite a potent mix. But long story short, when you put this together, traditionally, all these kind of long-standing structures, cultural norms, all of that kind of jazz, right? Social behaviors, understandings, all of that allow the exploitation, particularly marginalized people, to occur, dissolved. Like all the haze that surrounds our cultural figures that, you know, make us romanticize our oppression takes a massive hit, because everything we're seeing has been happening for years, and for some reason we have just gone along with it. So what do you think makes it so different in a 2025? In fact, whenever Saturn has transited through Pisces, we always see very vibrant rebellions against exploitative governments. So let me break it down through the Pisces nakshatras for you. So number 1, it begins with Bhuvabhadra, which is Pisces type 1. And essentially, it deals a lot with the roles that we play in society to make sure that they're fair and just. It's even symbolized by 2 crossed swords. So it deals with this ability to attack and defend oneself. But the thing that's really interesting is Bhuvabhadra has a lot of low self-esteem, but very fiery beliefs. Even the sun itself deals with a fiery transformation of beliefs. So the first reason a lot of these governments take a hit is because essentially the social contract has broken down. Look at it like this. Everyday citizens agree to be governed by certain parties, philosophies, or people because there is an understanding that you will protect me, you will look after me, I will be safe, I will be prosperous, I will be healthy. So when a government becomes exploitative, or in many of our cases, audaciously exploitative, they start fueling the desires of the elites and kind of their own greed instead of the common good. Well, you violated the social contract. Saturn, which represents the accumulation of wealth, so i.e. if you've accumulated wealth in an unethical, illegal way, human misery, imprisonment, you know, the hens have to come home to roost. But Saturn's energy isn't really about reform, it's about abolish and rebuild, because it likes stable foundations. So bada boom, bada bing. Then I want us to look at Uttarabhadra, right? That's Pisces type 2 to 5. It's actually the birth nakshatra of Lakshmi, right? So the goddess of wealth, abundance, you know, some level of material pleasure. Basically, when Saturn enters Uttarabhadra, it shows how the pure deprivation of wealth, opportunity, safety, in contrast to like the fucking greed, overindulgence, all that nastiness, like it basically breaks something in the everyday people and they become fighters. Look at it like this. There is no way you can expect people who are exploited via their taxes, their labor and all of that, and see they don't get to keep any of that money, nor they fairly paid. They barely make ends meet. The quality of life is decreasing, but meanwhile, you are becoming insanely wealthy of that. It's potent fuel for a revolution. Also worth pointing out, Uttarabhadra deals with generational wealth, making or losing it. Long story short, if your money comes from any source of colonialism, you're not keeping it. And finally, let's look at Ravati, right? Pisces type 6 to 9. It deals a lot with victimhood. It deals a lot with unconventionality. And, you know, this idea of either go towards enlightenment or drown in illusion. So essentially, often very corrupt governments stay in power via fear. And also, I would say propaganda, lies, deception, all of that kind of stuff. We have 2 unique things. So when people are so oppressed, they don't give a fuck. They're dying either way if they stay under your care, so they have to fight for life. The other thing I was thinking about is in the era of social media, because Nepal went on to ban social media, it was by seeing how the corrupt government were misusing people's funds, the lifestyle they were living, all the dots got connected, and essentially, you know, the illusionary haze they were in was sharply disrupted. All the things they thought were happening were confirmed. And long story short, Ravati talks about an accumulation of things. The rebellion happens because it's an accumulation of grievances. It's never just one thing. So long story short, yes, definitely predestined to be huge rebellions, but they're rebels with causes. But a word to the wise, Hibiscuses. When you rip out the rot, only something that is just can have legacy and longevity. You build with corruption and it will be worse.